Hey, what's up, coaches, gym owners, my peeps? We're going over our coaching development for January 2019. Uh, Quick refresher on here, as we got some new people watching along, that this can be done a couple different ways. One is if you have a bigger staff where you're meeting weekly, you could do this just each part as part of a weekly meeting. That'd be fine, right? You could do leadership one day. There's always a warm up and assessment one you can do the next week. Next week, you go over our movement and exercise selection piece. Final week, you could go over training protocols. All right, so there's always one piece of each of those. Sometimes we throw in something a little different there each month, but that's the general idea and the flow we go over there. If you have the smaller team where you can't all meet together at the same time, doing a monthly coaches meeting is super important. I'm big into coaching development. And again, that's different than, say, staff training. Staff training is where you're going over Zen plan or going over your monthly numbers, all kind of the back end parts of the business. I want to focus like a hawk this year on the front end service side of your gym and the parts we need to do to help keep people in your gym. And all the work you're doing, getting them in the doors is great, but we got to keep them in the doors too. So because it's January, the start of the year, we're going to start off with leadership for you as coaches. That's where it stems from. Your coaching staff is the real product, right? That's what people are there for your facility. They're not there because you got a new rogue rig. They like it, but that's not why they're there. They're there because your coaches are people that inspire them to be their best. To live their best life, you want them to be following you. So that way, when you give them coaching cues, they're actually open to taking it. And that starts with them believing in who you are and what you're trying to accomplish. So what we're starting there for January is setting our intentions for the year. We want our members to have goals that are important to them, but if we're like, I'm too cool for it, I'm kind of just drifting, that doesn't work. Now they go, well, me too, because you don't need to do that to succeed. We know that's not the truth. So I put two pieces up here about that, of what setting your intentions does. One is short video from Jim Carrey. I'm not the biggest Jim Carrey fan. She had a really hard time finding a good video on this to share. The other one's an article about just setting, goals isn't enough. It's about what we're going to accomplish to make those goals happen. But what the intentions are, what I really want to challenge you to do is pull a step back. We say we want to do this well in the open. I want to get this body fat percentage. I want to lift this much. Is why we want to do that. What's important about that, and then what are the behaviors we want to do, and what we're going to change to accomplish that. That's where the stuff is made, right? It's not that I want to run a 6-minute mile. Cool. Are you going to do the work and put that in there to help accomplish that, right? Are you getting a better pair of shoes? Are you going to go to a running clinic? What are these pieces you're going to do to help make that happen? What are you setting up in your life to where you have room to not only do the running intervals you need, but also to recover from the output that you're doing, so that way you're not just beating yourself down and going, I ran a lot, but I didn't really get for what the output for what I put into it. Okay, for each coach, I want you to challenge your coaching staff to set your intentions as a coach. What do you want to accomplish as a coach this year? And make it public. That means, making a post on Instagram, making a post on Facebook. You should be talking regularly about your passion and love for coaching. That's already a part of what you should be doing there for both people buying into you, following you, and believability for you as a leader there. So hopefully you're already doing that. Don't feel I can't post my Facebook. Oh, I'm sure it's so full of cat memes. Like, you can post your intentions as the coach there. It's all right. What do you want to accomplish this year as a coach? Why is that important to you? What successes do you want to see in your members, right? Coaching is about them. We focus and build ourselves up stronger to help them be stronger, right? So it's not about, I want to coach 500 classes. Why? Well, because I want to change this many lives. Good. Now you're talking my language, right? Where or with whom will you share this publicly? And how will you hold yourself accountable, right? If you want to do X, Y, and Z as a coach, what's your skin in the game? How will you actually do this, right? And now the discussion part, that's for the coaches to do individually. The discussion part is, how can we help coaches better align your members with their choices, right? Because it's going to be the coaches on the floor. Once you're doing every single class yourself, working with them. Is it public goal setting? Is it accountability? Is it a different strategy you have for helping them achieve their goals? Is it a SMART goal form? Is it a monthly check-in with you? What is that meeting we need to do, or a strategy to set up that you need for them to achieve their goals? and to stay aligned with them. And that's really important. So that's the leadership portion of the monthly coach development course. The next is warm up. We're talking about shoulders, man. Shoulders, right? CrossFit Open workouts, two things notorious, right? I mean, well, grip, yeah, breathing hard, whatever. But I'm talking shoulders and hinging are everywhere. It's always like, pick this dumbbell up 500 times, do a bunch of toes to bar, and this, and now shoulder to overhead, and here in handstand walk and handstand push-ups and pull-ups. It's all there, right? So making sure our people are healthy, warm, and ready to train is important, but also they can get through the open without getting dinged up, and they can do some higher intensity pieces without having to quit their job, train full time, right? They're coming in there 3-4 times a week for most people. So we want to help them keep that pattern up, but stay healthy and participate in a fun event. There are a couple videos from Dr. Jason Hahn. He's my partner at the Juice Compound, and he's actually the head physical therapist for the LA Football Club, a world famous PT, and just crushes it. These are a couple of videos on general shoulder prep and pull-up prep, which is a little more specific to what we're going to be doing here. And so both those ones are really good to watch. If you have your own, of course, go over them. These are great ones to get started with. And now to discuss as a group, there's always a little piece for you guys to work on in your meeting, is what common shoulder concerns do your members have, right? Are you noticing, hey, in our community, this is what comes. We have people that are older, they're like this. We have people that are more into sport, they're seeing this. Each little subgroup will have different things that are wrong with them and right with them. So we want to focus on what that is. Are those areas best helped before class, meaning warm-up and correctives? Are they best helped after class, in after-class care and preventatives? That's the difference between, say, shoulder mobilization and the YTLW series, right? One of those is better post-class, right? Band pull-aparts. One of those is better maybe before class, right there, right? And then what shoulder protocols do you need to make sure your members are staying on top of to continue training? Because our goal, right, is to keep them coming back. If they're dinged up, they can't come back, right? It's pretty simple. Or they're going to scale and they're like, why am I scaling? And they get frustrated. So some buy in, some don't. We want to keep everyone in your doors. So that's the idea there, going over shoulders for warm-up and assessment, making sure we know how to help keep them healthy, because our skill is handstand walking. It's in testing week, right? It's going to come up in the open again. So we put some training pieces here, some different progressions there. With the open coming up, we know that usually there's always a couple more difficult pieces that get thrown in there, right? Last year was handstand walking. I think it's going to be back. Right? It was in the Masters Regional. It's always in everything. I think the way things are going, it's going to be handstand walking will be a big piece in here. So what I want to go over is handstand walking drills and skills. We break it down into 3 parts. For a warm-up, that involves practicing the wall walk, wall-facing handstand holds, piked handstand holds, that's off a box with our feet up and our hands in the ground, and then pirouettes around the box in that position. They're all good for warm-up or skill development. Moving into actually doing the skill and developing it is practicing freestanding handstands with a partner or solo or against the wall, and then shoulder taps in our handstand position, or even hip taps and things of that nature. And then for output would be handstand walking. Now we're covering distance. We have some videos up for you from Power Monkey. He does a great, Dave has some killer content out there for that, and then some handstand walking progressions to go over. What I want is for practice with your coaches, each part of the handstand. So you're going over the basic parts for warm-ups, basic parts for skill, basic parts for development and output. You can help coach each other to where you're a member and you'd be helping them to the next step. Right? If they can do a wall walk, well, cool. Now let's try and do a good handstand hold facing the wall. They can do that. Can they get into more of a freestanding position piked on a box? Good. If they can do that, can they move around the box? And see how I'm trying to keep them going to the next step every time. It's a really easy thing to throw in warm-ups. Just one of these, especially on a shoulder to overhead day or a snatching day. I love having handstands or handstand progressions in the walks. But sometimes wall walks isn't enough. They might need something else, or you want something to help them develop the skill a little better. So it's going to help us know where those fit in and what they're useful for. Like I said, we have a big progression here. There we go. And then finally, the training protocols is pretty simple because the other parts are a little more complex. Helping members manage the intensity and progress through the open in a multiple event schedule. That means they have a workout every week. Excuse me, hold on. Sorry. Sorry, lunch got me. Very spicy. And now they're coming back every week. They got to go again. So if we're going to have a big high output day on Friday or Saturday, maybe even a second chance on Monday or Sunday, how many more pieces of intensity can we have in a week? No, it's not 7. You can't be literally intense every day. We can't handle it. And for people that think they are, it turns out they're actually not going intense, right? They're actually going 75, 80% all the time. I'm talking when people are going to bring the heat. How do we help them relative to their goals for fitness, performance, and sport understand how to push hard and recovery? So my questions for you for each avatar type, you're going to ask each of these 3 questions. You ask all 3 of them to fitness, all 3 for performance, all 3 for sport. If they do want to do the open, how do you help someone in fitness manage output and recovery? Chances are it's going to be their nerves are going to get them more than the output, right? For sport, it's going to be probably the actual output, right? Some nerves too, but you're going to be hitting it hard, right? What about those people that don't want to compete in the open? How do you help them manage the regular training, right? They're like, I don't need to do this. I'm not doing the open. Why are we doing this? Well, any standalone day still has tons of value, right? Whether people just drop in, whether they come on a couple days a week or multiple days, we're helping them all through the whole cycle. And then finally, if they're indifferent to the open, if they're like, yeah, I can do it, yeah, I don't, how do we help them find value in the training and stay consistent? If they're like, well, I don't need to come in this day, I'm not doing the open, I don't care. No, still come in. What are your strategies for handling these types? Because those questions are going to come up. If we're not ready for it on the front end, we'll deal with it on the back end, and we don't want to do that. So that's the open, guys. That's the coaching development for January. Make it a great month.